What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. Special video today. Now, look, everyone and their mother has made a video about this UNLV situation. I'm late to the party. Quarterback for undefeated UNLV opting out, saying that he was promised $100,000 or somewhere in that vicinity of NIL money. He only received, like, I don't know, 2 pennies and some pocket lunch and a Casio wristwatch. And ends up opting out. And he wasn't the only one. There was their running back ended up saying something similar. And now we're seeing a trend of this in college football where players for group of 5 teams, I think North Texas had another one, a guy that's like a sack leader, opting out after 4 games, retaining his red shirt. And this is going to be a trend in college football and something that's going to have to be addressed. I mean, we're really getting to the point where we're kind of ruining the game of college football with this stuff. Not the point of this video. Everyone's talking about that. Everyone has a variety of opinions on that. Here's what I don't think anyone's talking about. And before I get into that, let me set up the plot here. I want to go back, and I want to go to another sport. Go to the NBA. NBA referee, what was his name? Tim Donaghy. I think that was his name. Let me check. Yeah, Tim Donaghy. If you don't know who he was a NBA ref, well-respected, well-graded, got into debt, and ended up betting on, it came out later that he bet on games that he officiated. It was a huge scandal. And he was kind of scapegoated as this lone actor, and no one but him and the guy he was betting with were really involved. I don't believe that one bit. How he got involved with this scandal is he's placing bets on NBA games, and his bookie realizes he wins too much. Now, for everyone out there that thinks that there's some genius sports bettor, listen to this. And if anyone that's watched my channel for any length of time knows, I really despise sports betting. He was flagged as an advantaged bettor because this NBA official, Donaghy, was winning at about a 60% rate. So all of these people that want to tell you, oh, I've won way more games than I've lost in sports betting, and I'm way up, and I'm at 87% winners, they're full of crap. You might do that in a weekend. You're not doing that over the course of a year, though. In fact, you're not doing any better than a coin toss, most likely, on your sports bets. If you are, and heed this warning, you'll either be barred from betting. So if you're winning at like a 55% rate, they're either going to not take your money anymore, or they're going to limit what you can bet, and they're going to take your money first because Vegas wants to know where the smart money's going. So if you know that and still want to, bet on sports, have at it. I'm not going to stand in your way. But Donaghy's bookie didn't do that. He was winning at such a unbelievable rate at 60%. His bookie said, I want to know what this guy knows. Well, what is this guy's inside track? How is he at such an advantage over me? And came to learn that he was an NBA official, and he had an inside track. He just knew certain officials didn't like certain players. Certain players weren't going to get the call. Certain officials don't like certain coaches or maybe even certain teams, and they're just not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Also, and the NBA really tried to shoot this down, I think along with the FBI even, he knew that in a series, the NBA is incentivized if they're in a game 5 in a playoff series to go to a game 6. If they're in a game 6 to go to a game 7, because that's a ton more money, advertising money, like all of that. So he had all of this inside information. Again, he's ended up kind of scapegoated, and the NBA says no, that's definitely not the case. I'll let you decide. I don't believe that one bit. Why do I bring that up? Why are we talking about basketball? Why are we talking about cheating NBA refs? I'll tell you why. Because my dad was telling me about this. He was listening to 680 The Fan. It's a radio, sports radio station here in Atlanta. And they were interviewing the beat reporter, like the 247 reporter for UNLV. And this was fascinating what he said in this interview to me. He said the first person that called him, this is before anything had broken, anything was public about UNLV's quarterback not playing in this game. or the rest of the season. Who calls him to tip him off about this? Sportsbookie does. The first people to know about this were sports bookies. Fascinating to me and also concerning. So the bookie calls this, equivalent of a 247 reporter, beat reporter for UNLV, and says, hey, we have information that the quarterback for this team you report on is not going to be playing in this game. Is that true? 247 reporter, or he's not a 247 reporter, but the beat reporter says, yeah, that's news to me. I don't know anything about it. And so I have to ask, what level of influence does the sports betting industry have on these games? This is why it's important that Vegas was basically willing to give this kid his $100,000 NIL money to protect their betting line. Who knows what their exposure was? Now, I'm sure, I don't know. I'm not a sports bettor. A lot of degenerate gamblers love to bet on games like UNLV versus Holy Cross or whoever they're playing, right? So who knows what this bookie's exposure was, but they're trying to protect their money. It's concerning to me that people whose sole jobs it is to report on a team, your only focus is UNLV. If you're this guy, Vegas knows more about it, or the bookie has a closer finger on the pulse of what's going on in college football than these reporters do. Again, what level of influence do they have? Because it's not like it hasn't happened before. I just laid out a scenario where it's happened. And kind of what does that mean for the sport? Now, playing devil's advocate, obviously, if all of your money, if your entire business is wrapped up in what happens in a game, who wins by how many points, yeah, you're going to be well educated on what's going on. But here's the thing. When the only result is winning or losing, and especially when there's a lot of money involved, people are going to cheat. People are going to put their finger on the scale, especially with everything else that's going on in college football. The advent of NIL money and people suing one another and TV contracts and TV money associated with who gets into the playoffs and who doesn't, right? It's just an interesting thing to think about, what really goes on and what potentially could be nefarious. Now, look, I have no evidence to say that anything nefarious is going on. The whole point of this video is it was concerning to me that the first people to know about this were bookies, and they call, a reporter for this team to confirm it, and then are willing to give an NIL package to this quarterback to protect their money. So if they're willing to do that, who knows what isn't public that they were willing to do, right? So let me know what you guys think of that. It's kind of crazy to me. Do you have any concern with sports betting and how it could be influencing the world of college football or all sports in general? NFL, all of this. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to you guys later.